That we're going to be having on the show this morning, broadcasting live from the cool city of Enugu. Like I said before, it's a pleasure to be in your faces this morning, and we have a lot lined up for you today on the show. As always, we have our newspaper review, our trips around the region, amazing conversations about gaming. We'll have another conversation about trade fairs in Enugu and several others. We have our gym segment coming up on this show this morning. It's going to be an amazing one, and this is a sign that you shouldn't go anywhere. You should stay tuned throughout the show this morning as we bring you all that we have for you today. But before we delve into all of that, we'll take the news update with Ogochukwu Osai.
In Imo State, where the state governor, Senator Hope Uzodinma, has applauded the National Youth Service Imo Secretariat on the numerous groundbreaking achievements recorded in the state. In a separate development, the federal government is set to launch the National Agribusiness Policy Mechanism, a strategic initiative aimed at boosting agricultural productivity, stabilizing food prices, and stimulating broader economic growth. And meanwhile, the Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal has confirmed a $220 million penalty imposed on Meta Platforms incorporated by Nigeria's Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. On the foreign scene, Brazil's airport, Belgium's main international flight hub, will cancel several flights on Tuesday, while Charleroi Airport plans to suspend all departures the same day due to a nationwide strike over the new government's policy. Finally, on the news update, with a place in the NWFL Premiership Super 6 already secured, Nasarawa Amazons midfielder Rukaya Shobowale has called on her teammates to set their sights on the crucial playoff stage. And that's the much we can take on the news this morning. Do well to stay with us for the rest of the program. I am Ogochukwu Osai.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show on your. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break.
You don't sing alone.
I did single.
For real.
You're not a backup singer.
That's what they do. Time check, it's 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV. So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibes and vibes only.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owners, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and...
An incompetent means an incompetent person.
What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
You want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show to get the pulse and the feel of that.
Welcome back. It is the AM Weekend Show, and my name is Divine Onoha, and I'm your host for today. But I'm not doing this alone. I'm here with my amazing co-host, Ogochukwu Osai. Good morning. How are you? Lady in yellow.
How we good?
How's your week been?
It's been beautiful. A lot of works. We've been so many work outside here, boy. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
It's been amazing. Yours, Uncle?
Fine, no, we thank God.
Do you have any highlights?
Highlights. So, I know it's a negative one. It's a conversation that didn't go well with someone I was just seeing off camera.
Okay.
We'll talk more about it. But let's now talk about some of the things we've been seeing, some of the highlights, at least on social media. I picked interest in the Obi Kubana's gist, the next of kin thing. So his adopted son went on TikTok and was, you know, this trend now. Nobody say my shoulder, nothing to my shoulder. The next of kin I be, you know. So he did that and posted it. I don't know how that escalated into something, because I would have just seen that post and assumed that it's part of the trend. Everybody is doing one trend or the other. So I never expected in any way that it would be an issue of any sort. Not until Obi Kubana came out and did something that looked like he was debunking what he said. And then he posted, he reaffirmed his son as next of kin, and the whole thing blew up. People were saying that wasn't necessary. We know now. We know that your son is next of kin. Did you have to put it out there that way? While other people were saying that it's good he starts to correct the notion now, which is a bit confusing for me, because my understanding of next of kin is different, by the way. I never knew that. So I think the majority of the people reading or seeing that thing assumes that next of kin is the person who is meant to inherit the property. I don't know if you get me.
Yeah, I get
so if the guy comes out and poses as next of kin, then it's somehow passing the wrong message. And that required Obi Kubana's response, which was to reaffirm that, oh, my son is the next of kin. And then later this week, we saw another post that he made, more like damage control. He came out and he said, next of kin, let's have it. I don't know how he put it. And then he started to, it was a video slide. And then he showed his first son, second son, you know, and then ended up showing that boy. So some people applauded him. Other people thought, oh, you're just doing damage control. Why did you even speak in the first place? But how did you feel about that whole saga?
I saw the video. I was even, you know, vibing to the whole thing because I thought it was just normal thing. And before now, he used to call all of them next of kin. Yes.
Oh, he used to,
when he post any of them, it was hashtag next of kin. So it wasn't a big deal for me seeing.
Including the adopted son?
Yeah, I think I've seen one of his pictures where he did the same thing. Or even when all of them, a picture of all of them, you put hashtag.
Okay, all of them.
Yes.
Has he done with the adopted son?
No, I don't think I've seen just him as the next of kin. So I feel like it wasn't necessary, you know. I thought it was just fun. So just coming to see him write something about original next of kin, eyes on this and that, I was like, okay, next thing.
Is there trouble in paradise?
I don't think there is any trouble. Obi Kubana is so rich that if he writes his will, everybody's going to benefit, including outsiders, you understand? So I don't think it's a big deal. In as much as I know that the boy might feel somehow seeing that post, and you don't know what's happening inside. It might be cloud chasers who are cloud chasers, you know. It might just be something like, okay, joining the whole thing, playing along. You don't know the conversations they have had inside.
Wait, who is playing along? Like the next of kin guy or the Obi Kubana?
Maybe it could be. I don't know if they want to.
Because you can't say he's chasing clouds. I'm not sure he's the type.
You might not know.
That just decides to create a buzz on social media with his family. That is very unlikely.
I don't know, but because I saw another post of the wife within those two.
Yes, now because people now were saying that the wife must have called him to say this is wrong, correct? So Nigerians have this way of believing that, you know, certain men of those caliber will probably not have time for social media. So the adopted son may have gone there and put himself out there as the next of kin, and then the wife sees it and calls him separately and says, you better go and correct this before. And you know how, you know the narrative between wives and adopted children.
But they have been
so that's why she came to say what she said.
But they have been living for a long time, and there have not been any controversy.
That we know of.
Okay, that we know of, right? So from what she also said, she was like, you cannot judge somebody just by a post. So for me, I didn't actually take it so much because I felt like it's one of those social media days when something just comes up, you don't know the whole details.
Personally, I want to say that I feel that except there's an issue inside, except there's something that we don't know, except there's more to this than meets the eye, I think that the whole idea of next of kin was blown out of proportion. Being next of kin does not mean you are the heir
to everything.
The heir to the throne.
He has 3 kids.
Yes, so
plus 2 adopted sons.
What I'm saying is this: next of kin simply means the closest relative to someone. If the man decides to write his will and decides not to include the guy or any close relative, it's his business, it's his choice. Will now is what determines who takes the property. So I don't know what the buzz is about Nigerians.
Our mentality is that the next of kin is one that has the highest share. You understand? At least he's definitely going to have the highest share of the whole thing. So that next of kin comes with, you know, it's not, next of kin does not sound like you have extra responsibilities because you're the one closer to this person. Next of kin sounds like everything you're making is for me.
No, gee. Next of kin that I've always known is who will we call if accident happens.
You understand? That's actually the main meaning. But then, Nigerians have translated it to, in as much as you're calling me as the next person, who will you call when there is something, you know, if anything happens to this person who is taking over the whole thing?
Please, we need to correct this thing quickly. So like this, okay, I think I have my brother as my next of kin on one of my bank accounts. So automatically,
when nothing is happening, but if anything happens, and you know the funny thing, he cannot access your account unless you gave him your ATM card or he knows your PIN. That's what it is.
So what is now this whole
thing?
thing?
The bank to say I am next of kin. Bank will be like, who are you?
Except my lawyer is involved or something. But
So,
I mean, these are conversations where I need Barrister Chidi to be on set.
They need to correct those. We need to correct those things to make people understand that next of kin is not necessarily the person that will carry the biggest share in the family. So, and I believe it's not more than what we've seen on social media, hopefully.
Okay, now to lighter matters. Saturdays are for weddings, and we saw the very big, glamorous wedding of Priscilla Ojo
JP 2020
and our Tanzanian in-laws.
Yeah.
I mean, he made them buzz on social media. A lot. Last week we were discussing, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? We're talking about how social media has sort of put pressure on people, especially with the weddings, the glitz and glams. And, we're talking with the event planner that said that we needed how many millions
At
again?
least 3 million naira to get just
decoration.
An average decoration. You know, so you don't do, in her words, you don't do fetish things. It doesn't look like
doesn't look like,
you know, some things that I don't know.
So it doesn't look like Babalawo house, in case you don't understand. But that is wild, really. I'm putting this word out there so that if you're like me and you're preparing to get married pretty soon, whether you're a lady or a guy, just be gathering your money. You need like 3 million naira for decoration.
Just for decoration.
Just for decoration. So by the time you add food and other things. So
your
my
clothing.
our job is to be giving you updates. You know,
increase your budget. If you had 5 million naira in mind, unless you want to do parlor wedding, you can cut your clothes according to your size, leave decoration.
But now, talking about that wedding, we saw a lot of things. Some people attended, some didn't attend, and God knows I don't like TikTok gists. But this one stood out because people have come to say, this is necessary, that is unnecessary. Talking about Beauty now, Beauty Goddess, who was invited for the wedding, and she said she had a shoot to do, so she wasn't going to be around. But I think the focus was more on her attitude when she was talking. On that video, she said, what was it?
The highlight was JP whatever.
JP whatever.
Like all of us know it is JP 2025. So where is your whatever coming from?
You know, for such a wedding that captured so much attention.
So much attention.
And then she comes and plays it down like it didn't really matter. Said
it
JP
wasn't
whatever.
That big.
So the story now, after what she said, we now saw we saw an update that Priscilla had unfollowed.
Yeah.
So who was really wrong? Who was overreacting? Because if we're going by what Beauty Goddess said, she said that she had a shoot. So she sort of gave an excuse for her absence. But people capitalized on the attitude. So I'm wondering, the attitude we saw on that video, did it warrant Priscilla following her?
I think it does, in every measure. Because first of all, you were not invited 2 days to the event. So you knew about your shooting or whatever you were doing before time. Okay, if it actually came up, maybe brand shoot and you cannot postpone, you have to go ahead and shoot. Priscilla or the mother did not invite you on social media. So you have nothing to come to do on social media explaining why you did not come. You'd have called her on phone, you'd have sent her a text and let her know. Then if you have anything to send over to her, you could have done something like that. And not coming on social media with that attitude, saying whatever you want to say and the JP whatever thing, you know.
Nobody really needs the explanation.
Nobody needs it. It's none of our business. We are not part of the whole organizing committee. Okay, people might have been like, okay, we did not see her at the wedding, what happened? But it's none of our business, you understand? So if what Priscilla did is something I'm going to do, unfollow you, I'm not supposed to see that craze. Why am I supposed to see you on your timeline, on my timeline, talking about me, where you have my number, or you can easily reach out to me and talk to me about it? So definitely unfollowing her, not to see her rubbish again, is very okay.
Okay, now, so let's deviate a little from the issue on ground and talk about this attitude of celebrities unfollowing other celebrities when they have issues. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a celebrity just yet. But I can't remember any time where I had issues with someone, a friend, and then my first line of action was to rush to social media and unfollow. I personally think it's just so odd. Like, it is, I can totally disconnect with someone without unfollowing them. totally. I can have nothing to do with you and we'll still be on social media following each other. But what do you think about this whole, and you see, the way these bloggers follow it up so closely, it's such that when they reconcile and start following each other back, we'll see it. They've reconciled and they start following each other. Then when they have an issue too, they'll follow each other. I feel that's childish. What do you think?
I don't feel it's childish.
Hey, it's normal.
First of all, as a celebrity, you post almost every time. So why should I be seeing you on my timeline every single time where I'm not in good terms with you? I'm not going to move on easily seeing you every single time on my timeline. I'm not happy with you. So I am going to do it. Block you. It's not even only unfollow you. I will block you because I don't want to see you. You understand? So I feel it's not childish to me. It's not. Because I'm definitely going to do the same. I don't want to see you on my timeline. I don't want to see you on my... There's no way... Okay, you saying that you can disconnect with someone without unfollowing. How many times do you post?
No, it's not about posting. Going on social media. If they post more than me, I'll still see them. But what I'm saying is that for me, I can be seeing you and not like you and not be moved by it and just keep scrolling.
I don't want to see you. I honestly do not want to see you. My own is, I've said it here before, sometimes if I'm following you and I feel like I'm not getting, maybe why I was following you is no longer there, or I've disconnected, I'll just unfollow you. I don't want to see you again. I feel like, I don't know about any other person, but social media is actually a very big part of me. You understand? I've learned so much there. I'm still learning. So anything like bad energy, I'm definitely going to take it away by unfollowing. So, yeah.
Anyways, I guess it's different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, definitely.
But I really cannot, for me, I feel it's just dramatic. You know, I'll go and follow. So we will now reconcile and I'll follow back. But I get you.
It's dramatic because people follow them up, so they know that next thing is on.
Yes, it's true, because we get to see it.
Yes, if not, you wouldn't even know. And they move on. So, yeah.
Anyways, that's where we're ending this chit-chat. I hope you've learned one or two. But of course, my shout-out is to all the unmarried folks out there. I feel your pain. I see what you're going through. I saw another video this morning, and on the comments, I saw people commenting and saying, wait, is 2025 the deadline for marriage?
We thought it was 2024.
If I don't marry this year, will anything happen?
We thought it was 2024.
Will anybody die?
And this year,
because it's back to back to back.
It's a different
This year we're standing on marriage. It's not business.
And it's not just normal marriage. Like, it's actually they are setting the pace. Standard, this one, okay, I'm meeting the standard, I'm going to surpass, like something like Guinness Book of Records thing. Meeting standards and passing. Please, cut your code according to your size. Don't be pressured.
Shall you push not prepare us too much? We are coming.
We are here for it. Once I have money for data, I'm here for it.
Me and Ogochiku, we are coming.
We are coming, definitely. We're on our way.
So just expect. That's where we will round off our chit-chat segment. Up next on the AM Weekend Show is our newspaper review. We're going to be checking all that is happening on the front pages of our national dailies. Interesting stuff coming up right on the show after this short break. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
He is naturally funny. He is spontaneous. He is fearless. He is Funny Bone. Enugu, get ready for the biggest comedy show in Nigeria. Funny Bone Live. Timeless. Featuring Dandy Himura, MC Monica, Sawan, Ogwefi, Albino Brothers, Twin Sparrow, Frances, Music by Duncan Mighty, Jerick, and lots more. Date, Sunday, May 4th. Venue, Amadio Event Center. Time, 6 p.m. Tickets, regular 7K, VIP 20K, Gold table, 1 million naira, Premium table, 2 million naira. Go get your tickets now at all Kilimanjaro outlets, Market Square, Akarogbe, Ntachiosa, FunzyWeb.com/event. For inquiries and ticket delivery, call 0812-728-6773. Proudly supported by Dano Milk, Minimi Noodles, Live Beer, Feiruz, Tiger Beer, Optiva Capital, Funny Bone Live.
Enugu, only on Afia TV and channel 254 DSTV and channel 17 Ungo TV. History is calling. The world is coming to
Enugu State. The very first Enugu City International Marathon is finally here. That's right. On the 3rd of May 2025, athletes from across the globe will take the very first steps of greatness on the streets of Enugu, supervised by World Athletics and powered by the strength and spirit of the coal city. Are you ready to run? Are you ready to make history? Register now. Visit www.enugucitymarathon.com or pick up your forms at the marathon offices at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium, Akbara Square, or at the State Secretariat. Enugu, this is your moment. The road to greatness begins now. This marathon is brought to you by the Enugu State Government and supported by Pinnacle Oil, Afia TV and Radio, RC Cola, Aqua V, and other proud partners, and is brought to you by Nilayo Sports Management Limited.
Hey ladies, join us on Gyno Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
Breastfeeding doesn't even cause breastfeeding. The frequency of breastfeeding means the
approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show on here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break.
You don't sing along.
I did sing.
For real.
You're not a backup singer.
That's what they do. Time check, it's 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV. So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibe and vibes only.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owners, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and
An incompetent means an incompetent person.
What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
You want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show to get the pulse and the feel of that.
Join us on Gyno Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
Breastfeeding doesn't even cause breastfeeding. The frequency of breastfeeding means the
approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.
Welcome to the latest.
AM Weekend Show, and this is the time that we get to take a look at all that is happening on the front pages of our national dailies and analyze all the headlines. And joining us for this newspaper review this morning is Engineer Okwo Oluchukwu Morris, Public Affairs Analyst and Director, Just Originals Construction. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Divine.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good.
You look good.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. What are you expecting from the papers this morning?
Well, as usual.
As usual.
As usual, it should be politics and insecurity.
It's the fact that we're already predicting this thing before we look into it. And he is not far from the truth, because I'm already seeing some of the papers here, and they are terrible. But we're going to read the papers. We'll begin with Vanguard. The boldest headline here on Vanguard says, unmistakable battles ahead in Delta State. And the writer says, who leads Delta APC? Oborevori or Omoagege? How will Ibori Okowa finally resolve their unsettled quarrel? Also on this paper, expel Wike, Damagom, Ayawo now, or lose 2 more governors, 40 lawmakers, Ikenga Ugochinyere wants PDP. Find that on page 29. Also on this paper, tension grips Labour Party as fears. Tension grips Labour Party as fears spread. OT, other members may join APC. Tinubu upholds FCCPC's $220 million fine against Meta WhatsApp. That's what we have on this paper.
Now moving on to The Guardian. Boldest headline says, Tinubu world leaders bid Pope Francis farewell today. And we have alleged defilement. Ogun drops charges against school preparator Adelaja. Ibas appears before Reps Committee, says Rivers still fragile. Fawehimini's property, Falana Arogundade, others decry safety threats as developers ignore setback laws. We also have here Dangote Elumelu Jumo, Nigeria's real brand ambassadors. And lastly, from this paper, we have boundary disputes ignites killings, violence among Osun or your communities. That's the much we can take from The Guardian.
Moving on to Saturday Tribune, the boldest headline here says, again, armed invaders kill 7 in Benue community. Killer herders, kidnappers on rampage in Kogi. Ekiti North plans re-election rally for Governor Oyebanji deputy. 2027 support Tinubu but don't leave PDP. Group tells Governor Adeleke. Also on this paper, my father had diabetes, cancer of the prostate, but he still lived till 105. And there's an important headline here that says, World Bank says more Nigerians will fall into poverty by 2027. That's how much we can take on this paper.
And from Independent, we have Plateau killing cycle. A state under siege demanding for justice. Riders say it is not ethnic or religious, but land grabbing. Boko's victim. Another rider says natives say security agencies know these people, dismissing communal clash narratives. And last right says group calls for ICC international intervention. Away from that, Tinubu nominates Senate President Akpabio to lead Nigeria's delegation to Pope Francis' funeral. Also on this paper, why we dumped 47 billion naira power bill for 10 billion naira solar installation in Asoro. This is credited to federal government. Also on this paper, freedom of association, expression and fundamental rights. This is by Atiku. And lastly on this paper, violations. Tribunal upholds FCCPC's $220 million fine against Meta WhatsApp, and Rider says Bello reaffirms commitment to consumer protection.
All right, moving on to the Saturday Times. The boldest headline here says, Pope Francis for burial today. Senate President Akpabio leads Nigeria's delegation to funeral. Another headline here says, APC demands justice over alleged murder of Okpebolo's security aide. Defection alliances, realignment, part of democratic politics, says Atiku. That's an interesting one. And finally, on this paper, Juliet Ibrahim joins Nollywood actors to slam Ghanaian TV stations over piracy.
And Saturday, Weekend Trust, Goddess Highline says, 2027 governors who may defect to APC. How vigilante groups protect communities create problems. 68 persons killed in 3 months. You can find this on page 7. Grain hoarders face massive losses over declining prices. This is on page 32. And phone snatchers send victims to hospital. This is on page 28. And lastly, from this paper, bandits kill 28 in fresh attack in Zamfara in page 23. That's much we can take from this paper.
All right, now moving on to Blueprint Weekend. The boldest headline here says, rising cost of Medicare concerns as more Nigerians turn to social media for prescriptions. Quacks having field day on social media, says experts. Celebrities, influencers often mislead followers, says Dr. Ubani. And then stories of Nigerians slumping, dying commonplace due to self-medication. Another headline here says, world's attention on Vatican as Akpabio leads Nigeria's delegation to Pope Francis' burial. Rivers still fragile. I need more time to prepare a brief. Ibas tell reps. And finally on this paper, 2027, aligned with Center for Dividends of Renewed Hope agenda, Carlo tells Southeast.
And to the Nation newspaper this morning, boldest headline says, Atiku hits PDP leaders as Oborevori defection unsettles party. Riders say accuses them of CPT making deals with Tinubu. APC to defectors, we have room to accommodate all. Also, Rider says more confusions as dispute over national secretary rages. And last Rider says how party calls 2 national secretaries in 2 days. World gathers as Pope Francis goes home. And Akpabio leads Nigeria's delegation to Pontiff's burial. You can find this on page 5. IMF applauds Nigeria for exchange rate reforms, subsidy removal. You can find this on page 3. Mohbad's second autopsy rules out drug abuse. You can find this on page 35. And lastly, from this paper, we have 1.3 trillion naira CBEX fraud. EFCC declares 8 wanted.
All right, moving on to first news. Poverty pandemic. Nigeria has more poor people than China, Indonesia, Vietnam combined, says Peter Obi. Sowomi counters and says stop demarketing Nigeria on global stage. Also on this paper, PDP imploding, 40 lawmakers, 2 governors plot defection. Ugo Chinyere demands Wike's expulsion, Damagun's sack. Also on this paper, inflation, taxes, tariffs, devouring minimum wage, NLC warns. And finally, we have a headline that says court grants interim forfeiture of 73 assets linked to Chinese suspects. That's what we have on First News.
And Saturday Punch, banditry, hunters seek federal government backing for physical, spiritual warfare. Riders say Tinubu should sign bill to recognize us as paramilitary force. This is by hunters, and we are ready to make sacrifice for Nigeria. This is by Agbo Koya. Also on this paper, inside Nigeria's mosques, where humans, rodents compete for body parts. Why I choose to become a commercial bus driver. This is by a woman battered by Lagos dog. Also on this paper, we have 2027, Atiku slams Tinubu as Kwankwaso weighs options. And lastly on this paper, scandal, Osun monarch pastor admits to COVID-19 fraud in US. That's the most we can take from this paper.
Moving on to The Matrix. World leaders pay final respect as Pope Francis is laid to rest. FG's delegation arrives Vatican ahead of Pope Francis' funeral. Monarchs, presidents to join multitudes of mourners at solemn event. Over 250,000 throng lying in state in 3 days. Also on this paper, the tribunal upholds $220 million fine against Meta, validates FCCPC's authority, Rivers State emergency. IBAS acknowledges fragility, seeks time for full briefing. And finally on this paper, we recorded over 500,000 student loan applications in 11 months, says Nelfond.
And this day paper, world leaders gather in Rome for Pope Francis' funeral today. Also on this paper, Okonjo-Iweala urges US to reconsider reciprocal tariffs on 4 African nations. Also on this paper, we have Consumer Protection Tribunal opposed $220 million fine against Meta and WhatsApp. And that's the most we can take from this paper.
Moving on to Saturday Telegraph, which happens to be the final paper. The Borders headline here says, PDP, LP, NNPP, ZLP State Chairman flay gale of defections. I don't begrudge Okowa or Borevori, says Atiku. Crisis rocks Delta APC over Oborevori's defection as Omoagege camp cakes. Lawyers warn of implications. And another headline here says, what to eat and avoid, how inconsistency of health professionals creates confusion. Another headline here says, Babio leads FG's delegation as Pope Francis is buried at Vatican City. UK bellows death, traumatic, hasn't stopped family members from joining military, says brother. And finally, tribunal upholds FCCPC's $220 million fine against Meta and WhatsApp. Joining us to review the papers this morning is Engineer Okwo Oluchukwu Morris, a public affairs analyst and the director of Just Original Constructions. Welcome to the show once again.
Thank you again.
So we've read a lot of things are happening here on our papers, but I'd like us to begin with the killings so far. It's something we've been talking about. We're still seeing that let's take a look at the Saturday Tribune paper. The Borders headline says, again, armed invaders kill 7 in Benue community. Ogochukwu read one from Saturday Independent that says, Plateau killing cycle, a state under siege demanding for justice. And so many others that we've seen. We also saw another one in Zamfara. And it begs the question, is it that nothing can be done concerning this? Is it that nothing can be done? Is it that we've not found the people responsible? And I saw one, there was this particular rider, I can't quite figure out which of the papers that we saw it. It says that the headsmen or the unknown men fled, they ran to Kogi State. I saw that. So if we can, did you see?
No, I also saw another one that said that people know, like the what's the name, the police or people, the forces around them know these people, but they just let them run away.
I mean, if they know that they ran to Kogi State, why can't they go to Kogi State and get them? Who saw them running to Kogi State? Did they keep quiet and watch them run to Kogi State? These are questions that just boggles my mind. But let me know what your thoughts are.
Well, if we want to talk about insecurity, I think we should start from the foundation. According to records online, the number of active police people we have is about 300,000, and the military I think about 200,000. And when you sum up this number, even if the number isn't correct, let's just say 1 million. And these are people guarding a country projected to be over 200 million in population. So there's no way, if you do it mathematically, that there can be adequate security, given the number of servicemen to the number of citizens being protected. So for me, I think the problem of numbers, because we actually have enough numbers to match up with a military like China, because China has a lot of active military personnel, but a lot has to be done. For example, in Nigeria, we have only one National Defense Academy in Kaduna. That type of structure organization is meant to be in all the zones. And recently, we saw the press briefing at 82 Division, where the Army was calling for the Southeastern youth to join the military. And, moving some of this infrastructure to different zones can actually, help boost the morale of the citizens and also benefits. You know, you see these servicemen, they serve for a very long time and they retire, and there's really nothing to show for it, especially those on the lower cadres. So there has to be, you know, significant boost in morale for the people who want to join, and so the people who are already there. You know, there needs to be a lot of benefits for joining the army. I believe in the US, you can join and just do like one tour, which is, I think, about 6 months, and then you leave. And you still have a lot of, you know, benefits to your name, like the housing loans and all that. So I think it needs to be, you know, reviewed again. And also we need to invest in private security. Because when you talk about the number of citizens in Nigeria, you see that the budget for Nigeria can't even, you know, fit the number of service people that we need. But when you move towards private security, if I, for example, own a private security firm and we are allowed to, you know, bear arms, I can bring in private investors who, you know, can bring in a limited amount of money to invest in security.
This dimension is something I wouldn't want us to get into, but continue.
But, you know, people always raise alarm, like, if you allow private security to bear arms, they are going to misuse it. You know, but I beg to differ, because is it better people are, you know, there's inefficiency in the security system, or we are dealing with this other side of it where people are abusing it, which can easily be, you know, curtailed with serious measures.
Are you sure you can be easily curtailed with the experience we've had with police and still having with police? You know, so I don't think...
Well, as I said, I beg to differ. Because when you come to the private sector, private business owners take their businesses more serious. So if you treat security as a business, like, for example, I own a private security company, and I am specialized in search and rescue. That is what, you know, I train my people for. Someone is kidnapped, they can easily call, and we have helicopters in the air, we have people already moving in. Because when you see some of these kidnap events that happen, and they are telling the security people, the first 24 hours, they are very crucial, you need to go after these people. They'll be like, that is not how we operate. We need to, you know, go back, and before you know it, the time has passed, and the operation gets tougher. So I think investing in private security can, you know, help. And I don't know why the bill for state security also is pending, because that's also a way to, you know, revamp the security structure of Nigeria. Because right now, if something is happening in Enugu State, I think the governor has to call the IG before, you know, he has certain level of authority to do certain things.
Okay, but coming back to some of the things you said, I was just, you know, picking a few things. Talking about private security, it just reminded me of the fact that we've had this conversation a couple of times where we wonder how these unknown gunmen are so heavily armed. We wonder how. And if you look at it, it is tempting to believe, I don't want to speak as a matter of fact, it is tempting to believe that there could be individuals who have laid their hands on these weapons, on these arms, which is illegal. It's illegal, of course. We all cannot be going around with guns and all of that. So, but these guys have this thing. So imagine where we now make it a private business. Imagine where we now treat security as business. Imagine where it is now somehow legalized that we can at least have, of course, if you're registered, I mean, perhaps there will be some processes you have to undergo to become a private security. Everybody will get into it. It's business. And then by the time everybody gets into it, what becomes of Nigeria as a whole? Because some people will get it for the sake of defense too. There are people who might be authorized as security agencies, and there are others who would, I mean, it's Nigeria. If you go through the whatever, you have it, you have what you want. So what becomes of Nigeria? It will be war now.
Well, as I said...
So there's that. Okay, go on.
As I said, you can't just, throw open that level of, it has to be done with...
Curtailing now is the issue.
Caution and regulation.
That's the issue, regulation.
Yeah.
That is where the issue will be.
Well, I think I understand where he's coming from, and I think it makes sense to an extent, in as much as I understand what you're saying. So, but what I think can happen is, now, if it's going to be a business, you make it a business. If you want to protect yourself, you're not going to be licensed. But if it's a business, like you make it an organization where this kind of security team, you understand, they're your license, you follow the regulations, and hopefully...
I feel like our imaginations are really working.
You might actually get better to an extent, since the ones by the federal government or the country is not really helping us.
So the thing is that the bad guy is not going to tell you that I'm going to collect these things because I want to protect myself. The bad guy is going to go like he's approved. He's going to go like the agency.
And we are not that advanced that we can easily detect.
So now, if we're talking about caution and we're talking about regulation, now that it is not being treated as private, security is not a private affair, we have seen the regulation and the caution that we are giving to it. How wonderful it is. So imagine when it is done that way. But that is, by the way, that's just my contribution concerning that particular matter. Now, coming back to what you said initially about Nigeria not having enough manpower, of course, in the security agencies, not having enough manpower compared to the population. Barrister Chidi, the last time, said that we have more than enough. And as a matter of fact, when we step out of Nigeria, that we are being recognized as one of the strongest forces when it comes to security. I don't know by what, we were laughing over it.
Yeah, right there.
We were laughing over it because we couldn't believe it. But he said it very, vehemently that Nigerians have been doing well. Outside Nigeria, we're being recognized as people with strong security. And quite honestly, we've seen it play out. We've seen matters where, I'd like to say matters that are not as serious as other national and political issues, and you hear the police has cracked down on this place and they figured out things. There's been countless occasions where something happens, something say milder than what Nigeria is facing as a country, and before we say Jack Robinson, they've figured everything out. They've tracked down the people, they've brought them to book, and we wonder, can't we apply this intelligence to all the issues that Nigerians are facing? Can't we apply? So if we're now talking about manpower now, don't you think that with these past scenarios of things that the security has done, I don't know if you've seen the papers where they were able to do this thing. They're like, okay. We saw the NYSC girl recently, some months ago. She said what she said, and they've called her on the phone. So people can track these things very easily. So we've seen bandits come online, go live. Go live. And say what they want to do online, showing everything, showing their operations, and we have not been able to track it down. So is it really a manpower issue?
Yes, I'll still stand on it being a manpower issue, and I'll give you my reasons.
Okay.
When you're talking about these situations, you need to also cite the type of, topography that it happened in. Most of these killings, if you look at those villages, they are just a cluster of villages. When you visit there, you see that you have to drive miles, and you drive miles with like forest areas, and before you get to see a building, you have to go like after a kilometer, and before you even see people. So these are, clusters of people living, outside of the center of their states, making them prone to some of these attacks. So when it comes to manpower, I don't think the Nigerian security system is enough to deploy, security people to also be in those type of areas. I think the situation you talk about are people in, more civilized, more urban areas. So they are easily tracked down. You're talking about people in forests that are as big as, stadiums and even larger and all that. So if someone, I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to, defend them, because, technology has moved to an extent, and they can also come back to the fact of budget, that they don't have enough money to buy those equipment. So I think it still falls down on manpower. If you check places where these bandits have taken over military bases, they come in their numbers. It's not really the weapons that they come with, but you just see them, they are just a lot. And with the number in the base, you're just overwhelmed. You just have to retreat. So at the end of the day, I think it still boils down to numbers.
Okay.
It's okay. I rest my case.
Let's move away a little. Now, across the papers, we've seen defects. Even within the week, we've seen defects moving from PDP to APC, from Labour to APC. Now, I'm concerned. What is our chances in 2027? What is our fate in 2027 with the whole thing of defecting to APC?
Well, I can't really say what the fate would be because it's too early to call. But if I didn't know Mr. President and I read about him, I would say he's a psychologist. I think he wins the game in the mind first, before even on the election day. So what happens when you see a strong, maybe PDP leader, they come to APC? It kills you psychologically because you'll be like, yesterday I saw this man.
So
he was in PDP, he was in their meeting, and you just give up hope as an ordinary citizen, and you'll be like, he has already won. And that's what he wants you to think. He plays the mind game. I mean, in the last election, he came out with, "It's my turn." Amy Logan, yeah? So I think he's a good mind player. And the opposition, they don't need to, because right now I'm a neutral party. I told you I just left the APC, so I'm standing on a very neutral ground. So the opposition, they don't need to, key into those mind games. They need to keep waxing stronger, because Nigeria, believe it or not, we need opposition because it's democracy.
Okay.
And if not for His Excellency Peter Obi, I think Nigeria would have already been moving towards a one-party state.
Yeah.
Because right now, the only people who seem to be, standing strong are a few people from the north because of the coalition, and people from the southeast because of His Excellency Peter Obi. So I think the defection thing, I still say it's a mind game and they are playing it well.
Okay, I mean, I wish we had enough time. There are other political matters or politics-related matters on the papers, but away from that now, just because we don't have enough time, I really had a lot of questions to ask concerning that. But let's take a look at Saturday Tribune. There is a headline here that says, World Bank says more Nigerians will fall into poverty by 2027. We're also seeing that on Saturday Independent. It says, fiscal pressures, more Nigerians to sink into poverty by 2027. World Bank calls for urgent improvement in service delivery. Now, this one stood out to me because most of the times on the papers, what we see is Tinubu reassuring Nigerians that there's somewhere we're headed. Please, just follow me. Walk with me. We've seen that a lot. We've seen cases where someone comes out and applauds Tinubu and says he is doing the right things, he's making the right policies, we are headed somewhere. I don't know. I mean, even the World Bank sometimes, their projections are in favor of what the government is doing. We've seen that several times. We've seen people come out to say, don't listen to these guys. We are the ones in Nigeria. We're the ones seeing what is going on. They are just making all these statements and giving us false hopes and all of that. And then suddenly today we're seeing World Bank coming out to say that more people are going to sink into poverty in 2027. What's going on? How can this be averted? Are there ways, are there things that, and at this point, I'm not just talking politically now, I'm not just talking I mean, if you have something to say to the government, that's beautiful. But we individuals,
How do we get ourselves?
What can we do at this point, really?
Well, I think, I'm sorry to say, but individually, I think we're helpless.
Okay, we're helpless. Okay.
I'm not an economist, but I do know that if something is budgeted for something and then that budget is stolen, the projection you make while budgeting for that particular thing, disappears. So it might be true that the projections you see, the positive projections you see, they might actually be true. But then when the funding for these policies and all that are released, who ensures that they are properly used? I mean, you wake up, you see cases where one person is accused of stealing billions, trillions, and at the end of the day, you see that there are no strong repercussions for that. It only aids the next person who gets the opportunity to do the same thing. And we're talking about an administration where you see in every 10, 5 appointees, there are about 2, 3 who have cases with the EFCC. I think we should start looking at some of these things. You don't have someone who, even if you've not been charged, but at least we have over 200 million people in the country. There should be people who have clean slates who can step up and handle some of these appointments and some of these ministries. So I think we have a funding problem, in terms of how the money is used. I think that's where the main problem is.
Okay. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. If not, there's so much more to explore, especially on this matter and other matters. I mean, we still have a lot of headlines that we have left unexplored, but of course, we'll continue next week. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Divine.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. And that was Engineer Oko Oluchukwu Morrison, Public Affairs Analyst and Director, Just Original Constructions. Up next on the AM Weekend Show is our trips around the region. We'll be visiting Abakaliki and Aba in Abia State. We'll be right back.
Is calling. The world is coming to Enugu State. The very first Enugu City International Marathon is finally here. That's right. On the 3rd of May 2025, athletes from across the globe will take the very first steps of greatness on the streets of Enugu, supervised by World Athletics and powered by the strength and spirit of the coal city. Are you ready to run? Are you ready to make history? Register now. Visit www.enugucitymarathon.com or pick up your forms at the marathon offices at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium, Akbara Square, or at the State Secretariat, Enugu. This is your moment. The road to greatness begins now. This marathon is brought to you by the Enugu State Government and supported by Pinnacle Oil, Afia TV and Radio, RC Cola, Aqua V, and other proud partners, and is brought to you by Nilayo Sports Management Limited. He is naturally funny. He is spontaneous. He is fearless. He is Funny Bone. Enugu, get ready for the biggest comedy show in Nigeria. Funny Bone Live. Timeless. Featuring Dandy Humora, MC Monica, Sawan, Ogwefi, Albino Brothers, Twin Sparrow, Frances, Music by Duncan Mighty, Jerick, and lots more. Date Sunday, May 4th. Venue Amadio Event Center. Time 6 p.m. Tickets regular 7K, VIP 20K, Gold table 1 million naira, Premium table 2 million naira. Go get your tickets now at all Kilimanjaro outlets, Market Square, Akarogbe, Ntachiosa, FunzyWeb.com/event. For inquiries and ticket delivery, call 0812 728-6773. Proudly supported by Dino Milk, Minimi Noodles, Live Beer, Feiruz, Tiger Beer, Optiva Capital, Funny Bone, Live.
Enugu, only on Afia TV, channel 254 DSTV and channel 17 Ungo TV.
Still the AM Weekend Show, and right now we're taking quick trips around the region. We'll be visiting Ebonyi State, Abakaliki precisely. Amegu Ikwo celebrates Aji Erike Cultural Festival. The vibrant community of Amegu Ikwo in Ebonyi State was abuzz with excitement as they celebrated the annual Aji Erike Cultural Festival, a lively homage to the rich heritage and traditions of the Ikwo people last weekend. The festival brought together hundreds of residents and visitors, showcasing the community's deep-rooted cultural practices through an array of traditional music, dance performances, and the display of culturally significant artifacts. And we have Afia TV's correspondent reporting on that.
Attendees were treated to captivating performance that reflected the history and narrative of Amegu Ikwo people, fostering a sense of unity and pride within the community. The event served not only as a celebration but also a platform for cultural exchange, drawing interest from the various quarters. During the festivities, Honorable Chinedu Oga, the House of Representative member representing Ikwo and the Zasat Federal Constituency, emphasized the importance of reversing Ebonyi diverse cultural heritage and cultural preservation in the Ikwo community.
This I tend to do so far that is life, it will be sustained. Oh God Almighty, it's a joint venture. Everybody is here because we do it to celebrate peace, unity, progress, and understanding within ourselves. And we are celebrating because we have a very conducive environment of the government of Chief Francis Ogoni and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And you see that Ebonyi states are blessed for leaders. So that is why we continue to celebrate our culture. Or the culture, you can see that everybody, even those in abroad, return. So it's a culture. Everybody respect our culture. That is why I always urge Nigerians. We will have more respect and regard when we emulate our culture. Culture always gratify dignity. And for example, here in our place, there is a place. If we are looking for something, if we go there, the truth must come out. Everyone must say the truth. So that place, you cannot go there and lie. So, and that is the dignity of our culture. So we are urging so many people to identify their own culture. It is the unity of peace. We should continue to support our dear Governor Chief Francis Ogoni Enwefo for his good work. We should continue to support the President Ahmed Tinubu. We should imbibe our culture and we should be sincere to those we are representing. Come down to your place, identify with them because they elected you. You can see me dancing with them. You can see me playing with them because they are my security. They can guide me, they can protect me, they can give me all the strength. It's not when the politics come, you come now to deceive them. They already know where we are going. At any time I told them this, they say yes, this is their own, and we must definitely get there.
The Speaker of Ebonyi State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Moses Ijodunwa, urged the committee members to embrace the traditional with pride and called for unity and collaboration among the residents to support the current administration led by Governor Francis Nwifuru, highlighting such cooperation as essential for the progress of the states.
That this road will pass. I know in continuation of the road from Adina, we have 5 kilometers of that road in our budget this year. And we are asking to tell you that we are not forgotten. And we still want to emphasize is peace efforts. And also ask you to tell Amadu people that in as much as they remain peaceful, that he is committed to their cause. And on the other hand, I want to also let us know that our resolve to give him our 100 plus support is still there. And the people of Ikwo, the people of Amegu, and other places in Ebonyi, we will join hands to build a stronger Ebonyi. and to make our governor the most popular governor in Nigeria.
The Jereke Festival, steeped in a historically significant, is just an occasion for celebration, but also a vital expression of values and heritage of Ikwo people. As the festivities concluded, the sense of unity and pride and cultural appreciation among the participants was palpable, ensuring that the legacies of the Jereke Festival will continue to thrive from the generation to come. In Abakaliki, Chijo Kenjok reporting for Afia TV.
Joking Njoku for that report. We'll be moving over to Aba in Abia State. Following a recent declaration by Abia North PDP stakeholders expressing confidence in reclaiming power from Governor Alex Otti in 2027, residents of Aba have voiced strong opinions, with the majority rejecting the possibility of a PDP return. Our correspondent in Aba, Chibuikem Agwamba, now reports.
In the bustling city of Aba, political discussions have intensified following a bold remark by the Abia North section of the People's Democratic Party, claiming that the party would reclaim leadership from the current Labour Party-led administration of Governor Alex Otti in the 2027 general elections. When confronted with this assertion, the mood on the street tells a different story. Residents in separate interviews firmly dismissed the PDP's chances, citing ongoing infrastructural development, improved transparency in governance, and renewed confidence in public institutions under Alex Otti's leadership. Mr. Eyinaya questioned the achievements of the People's Democratic Party when they were in power.
Since when they had power through Orji Uzokalo, what have they done? They've done nothing.
He went further to describe the governor as a godsend to the state.
After all the recapitalization that have been brought into the state by a God-given man, when you see everything with your eyes, with your two naked eyes, after seeing everything.
Another resident highlighted infrastructural development and timely salary payment.
For me, I would say no. Why? Alex Otti is working. At least everybody is testifying about Alex Otti. Both the cleanliness of the environment, both the civil servants, they are being paid. And based on the news I had yesterday, he's saying that he's going to reshove Enyimba Hotel and so many other good things. So for me, Alex Otti should go ahead and rule us.
Possible. Why? The Biden said most of them are carrying for life. Is when I said that it's impossible because they did not get it at first. Then disappointed us. But now the people that are on seat now, they are giving us what we want. We really love them. And I, Nehemiah, by name, I can tell them, carry go. Nobody will take the seat from you.
For the meantime, I've come across his leadership. He has done so many things that people think he's not going to do. Yes. Like when he came to a governorship this thing, it's not up to 1 month, it's not up to 2 months, he started renovating roads, doing so many things that people think he's not going to do. So I think no party will adjust it from him.
However, not all opinions aligned. Mr. Sunday held a contrasting view. He referenced the empowerment initiatives carried out by the former PDP administration.
PDP, the kind of things, there's things where Alex I know that it's working, but some empowerment when we get PDP, the next last governor, to empowerment to people, help people, build people's house, help the give workers work. But since I need to get inside, I don't even see that that type of thing is there.
Power, as always, rests with the people. With less than 2 years to the 2027 elections, only time and the voters will decide whether it's the PDP or Labour Party that takes Abia's government house. In Aba, Chibuikem Agwamba, reporting for Afia TV.
Thank you, Chibuikem Agwamba, for that report. And up next on the AM Weekend Show is our conversation. We're going to be having a conversation about trade fairs and its impact in Enugu State and in Southeast, and in the Southeast at large. After this short break, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
What are we looking at? Thank you guys for joining us on this unforgettable night.
Everything is fine.
Paw Patrol is on a roll. It's Max Verstappen in the lead. The megastar is here. Absolutely sensational. Let's go!
What are you guys doing to us? Get unbelievable entertainment that is unbelievably easy to own. Get and stay connected to DSTV.
It's time for the main event. This is incredible. He has written it, and the dream lives on. I cannot believe it. Mbappe scored. They are in such a menacing mood here. Hear the place in all its magnificence.
Stay connected to DSTV this April and May and get all the football finals you want.
Cannot hold a man up to a promise he made while he was naked.
In your world, where you're from, only a coward awakens the love of a woman, sits back and does absolutely nothing about it.
Do you have the eye of a Elegbara?
Where is the eye of Isha?
Do you know what Ijo Elegbara is? Oh, well?
I am going to die here. This place that nobody knows called Iluari.
Bá ní kò ṣe tí ò bá ṣe kò sí tẹ́lẹ̀ kankan lè fi wá ṣe. Bàbá lẹ́gùn bàbá wa ó jò tí ò jó mọ́ kò jó mọ́ náà.
Adéyìnfẹ́. Ṣé ìwọ ló ṣe é?
Ṣé kí ni?
Kógun já àwọn èèyàn mi. Sọ ọdọ́gbọ́n fún mi ni.
AM Weekend Show. My name is Divine Onoha, and I'm still here with Ogochukwu Osai. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
How's the show going so far?
Fine, fine.
Fine?
Yeah.
Just
the
fine.
Nigerian thing, I think. We're moving on.
I mean,
at
this point, we need to pray. We need to pray for Nigeria.
I think it's only prayer that's the
we need to pray for them. But how do you feel about the Abia State, around the region reports, though? How do you feel?
Honestly,
the oppositions are coming strong.
They are coming strong. I've actually, one of these days I was reading news, I saw how they were clamoring, they are planning. It's more like these people, you know, when you're watching a movie, you see people planning to overthrow this king. That's how it feels.
That's how it feels, honestly.
Honestly speaking, but the good thing is that the people
want who they want.
The man.
They know who they want.
People, they know what they want, and they're going to make sure that they do everything they're going to do to make sure he retains the power in 2027. So,
you know, myself, I don't want to say much about it because I already am going to have a bias since I'm from Abia State. So I may not be the best to give you the right take on this. I have a bias.
I think all of us do.
We do, right?
It's very obvious.
Okay, so my bias is justified considering the fact that the man is working.
Everybody is saying that this is the first governor of the state.
So I'm not saying you should throw shades at us.
I'm not throwing shade, I'm being honest, forgive me, you understand? So we all know, if it's possible for us to vote from here, we are going to vote for him. We all love it. So it's not anything opposition coming, we know it's just, let's just say it's democracy playing out, but at the end of the day, we know the truth.
Okay, I'll still try not to say what's on my mind. If I say the way it's on my mind, it's going to trigger some people. But away from that, now we have a very interesting conversation, and this would be centered around Enugu and, in extension, the southeastern part of Nigeria. But we are looking at Enugu as a commercial hub, and we're looking at the impact of trade fairs in all this. So Enugu has been known for being a cultural city, a very, very cultural city, a culture rich in culture and traditions, but we're also seeing it evolve and grow into a commercial hub. And one of the things that has stood out about this is the trade fairs. We have a lot of trade fairs. I think in a year we can count maybe 10 different trade fairs organized by different individuals and different organizations. So we really want to deep dive into the matter and find out if these trade fairs are really of impact to Enugu State and the southeastern part of Nigeria at large. And joining us to talk about this is Onyebareke David Chinedu, an event planner, a caterer, a chef, and the CEO, Nedu Belefu Cakes at Events. Good morning and welcome to the show. Very powerful portfolio you have there.
Good morning.
Good morning. And your uniform, I mean.
You're representing.
This
I
is
decided
beautiful.
to be on this outfit today.
Proudly representing.
Proudly represented.
Okay, so I don't know if I murdered your name, your brand name, CEO Nedu Belefu.
Nedu, CEO Nedu Belefu Cakes and Events.
Belefu?
Yes.
Oh my God. That is nice. That is nice. Nedu Belefu.
Yes.
Why didn't you complete the full now with double L?
No. Just Nedu Belefu.
Belefu.
I don't want to stress it.
Okay.
That's for the full, yeah.
That's nice. So I'm saying that you're an event planner, you're a caterer, you're a chef, and you're a man.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did you, I mean, I'm just curious, how did you leave medicine, mechanic, and all those things that, you know, we believe that, yes, that there are areas that are more
naturally
for men. So how did you find yourself in the kitchen?
I actually studied accounting in school, but I ended up as an event planner, chef. I don't think it's done actually reasoned that way. You can decide to. I think it's a thing of passion. It didn't start today.
So how did it start for you?
It started way back before I got into primary school. So love cooking, doing chores in the kitchen, and lots more. So that was when I knew there was something about me with the kitchen.
Wow. That's nice. Would it be thanks to your mom?
Yeah.
Did she drag you to the kitchen? Because I know that there are moms.
She really helped a lot.
Are you the first child?
No, I'm the second.
Wow.
Second child.
You know, I could have said, okay, because you're the first child, it's no-brainer that you have to work in it. Okay. That's beautiful.
Okay, that's nice. So we'll just get right into the conversation. And we, of course, we're talking about trade fairs in Enugu. And like I said, we've had a lot of trade fairs. We're seeing a lot of trade. I mean, there was a time I was so tired.
I think there's another one coming up.
We were so tired, and I'm sure, I think we had that conversation once, is a trade fair is really fair. But I'd like to know, what's your first impression about trade fair? When you hear trade fair, what comes to your mind?
Window shoppings and buying things at lesser prices, discounted prices. And I think when I hear, or when someone says trade fair, I think it's an avenue for sightseeing, satisfy your sight. A lot of activities going on at trade fairs, games. A lot of times they involve games and other social activities, not just buying and selling.
Okay.
Yes.
But you as a vendor, when you hear trade fair, what comes to your mind?
Okay, oh my God, it's an era of cash out.
Cash out. Okay.
It's an era for cash out. Yes. Making massive sales, having connections with a lot of people you don't know before then, and then, visibility, expanding your visibility. Yes, because, in fact, the concluded International Trade Fair at Gulf Enugu here, I connected with a whole lot of brands, not just individuals. I did some shout-outs for some brands like Ope and some other brands. Yeah. So, and then this led to business afterwards. I've been in touch with some brands for further business, transactions. So, trade fairs, if I were to say how impactful trade fair has been to me, it has really made me versatile and more versatile, because I am versatile already. It has made me more versatile, being connected to people, going to places which I can never thought. Yeah,
so you think
exactly.
trade fair is worth it?
It's worth it. It's worth it.
Okay.
It's beyond buying and selling. Yes.
Okay, now I just want to ask, just to be sure, for you as a vendor, we've agreed that you make massive sales and cash out period, of course. So, but between, and you also mentioned exposure and all of that. So between cashing out and exposure, which one has the greater percentage? Like, which one would you say you achieve more in a trade fair? Is it the cash out or the exposure?
For me, it's the exposure. Because when trade fairs or a trade fair is being mentioned, it's a window shopping. This is an era when vendors or entrepreneurs come out in mass, in masses, or in mass rather, to sell their goods. Do you understand? And then they slash their prices. So I won't really say it's a time for, a lot of cash out and all that. But then the visibility and it comes with is something, the relationship you build, is actually a whole lot, and it's enough already.
Okay. Now, talking about trade fairs in Enugu particularly, so we've had different situations where people would go for trade fairs, vendors too. I mean, I'm talking about vendors for now, since you're a vendor. So they go for trade fairs. There was one we went for last year. I don't want to mention the one. So, but we got a lot of complaints about it being for you. I mean, I'm so glad I'm hearing you say all of this about it. Yeah. But we see other vendors who go for trade fairs and they tell you they just wasted their time. They just wasted their products. They didn't get sales.
Money trying to advertise.
They weren't strategic.
Okay, so that was the question I was going to ask, whether it is their fault.
It's actually their
something
fault.
With the
it's
trade
actually
fair.
their fault, because before you go for the trade fair or you go for such kind of event, you do have to carry your followers, your audiences along. Imagine going for a trade fair without putting out videos or content of you preparing yourself for such an event. How would people that knows you, or people who are yet to know you, to get in touch with you, or to buy, to afford, to buy from you, get to know that such an event will be happening at such time? Or do you get? So a lot of time I got this even after the concluded trade fair, international trade fair, where vendors were saying in as much as there wasn't enough publicity for that trade fair, it is your duty to now re-strategize, make enough of content, videos, put them out, advertise your product, and let people know that this is going to be happening. You're going to be here at such a time duration. Like I myself, before I went from the trade fair, before I started, I have to bought the keke from town just for direction. I paid the keke. He collected a whole lot of money, but I didn't mind. So just to make things easier for my buyers, for my audience, my loved ones who would love to come, show me love there by patronizing me, I had to record myself. I did the recording. Recorded myself to the trade fair.
Okay.
I never did this because spending, like I derive joy in spending, but just to get myself prepared and know I actually played my role.
Your role.
Perfectly.
So I have a question. So you're trying to explain that social media plays a very crucial role.
A very huge role.
But before social media became a thing, I knew trade fair. Let's talk about like the international trade fair when it was still at Polo Park. So does it mean now that then I feel like the whole publicity is on the trade fair. Then when you're coming to buy something what you like. Now, but with this style now, it means you're now inviting people to come to the trade fair for you.
Yes.
So is there a difference of, does it make any difference of me doing the advertisements and staying in my shop while people come to my shop to buy, and also, you know, and doing the advertisements for them to come to the trade fair to buy from me? So does it make any difference?
Just to buttress what she's saying, now, you know, like she said, there was a time that social media was not a thing.
Yeah.
You know, and when you call for trade fairs like this, shops will see it as the perfect opportunity to go out there, bring their products and all of that. So in this situation now, if they still have to rely heavily on social media. Already, I'm assuming that no sensible vendor will be on social media and not be posting. So prior to trade fair, they've been posting. So now trade fair, it's supposed to be something different. And you're not hoping for the same audience. You're hoping for newer people who probably haven't met you on social media to come for it. So if we're saying that they still have to rely heavily on social media, then how does trade fair really help them?
Come again, let me really understand, because
okay, you've understood the angle we're coming from, which is the fact that you're saying that they still have to rely heavily on social media.
Yes.
Now, we are now saying that if they still have to rely heavily on social media for their trade fair to be impactful, then of what use is the trade fair to them, since they still have to pull their followers that they have built to come for that trade fair? They might as well pull those followers to their shops
and not waste money to register and become part of the trade fair.
Now I get you.
Yes, please.
You know, as a vendor exhibiting at a trade fair, you're not just coming to sell. And then the trade fair also is set aside as an avenue, the trade fair as an avenue to connect with vendors, to connect with opportunities. Do you understand? So I think if I got you correctly, I think trade fair, like they can't actually do without trade fair.
Vendors cannot do without trade fair?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if you
I'm getting you. So I'm listening for you to tell us the reasons.
So you can't do without trade fair because the visibility, what they bring to you freely, the things they bring to you, just like the concluded trade fair, they brought a whole lot, which at some points we made some content and some shout out to the governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba. Yes. So for his enormous and continuous support to SMEs, businesses in Enugu State, because trade fair has really relieved us from, or relieved a lot of stress, financial stress, because that's really giving small businesses opportunities to come out, make bulk sales, and have other opportunities from the SME. Do you understand?
Okay. I do, even though it looks like the question wasn't quite answered.
Yeah, I feel like what you're trying to highlight now is the bulk sales thing. Yeah. So it helps you people make a turnover easily and also network.
I get what he's saying. He's emphasizing that trade fairs still have other benefits, which is connecting with vendors, networking, meeting new people. But the only issue we had was that pulling your followers thing, which is counterproductive. If I'm coming to a trade fair, I'm expecting to get new people. Instead of, I mean, it's okay to pull your followers.
Having your followers is just like a plus.
Okay, it's a plus. It's not the main focus.
It's not the main focus. Okay. And that's why the social media, and that's where the social media comes in, where you get new people who get to know about your brand or your product and services.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay. That means there must be other strategies that these vendors can apply. Since social media is not the main one, we have to probably have other strategies that they can apply, so that when they go for trade fairs like this, they will not come back crying. If you know those other strategies apart from social media, perhaps you can just suggest to us.
If there are other things
you think they should do
at the ground
so that
in order to get customers, to make your sales so that the person doesn't cry at the end of the day?
Exhibiting vendors can go live on their socials.
Socials.
And they can actually, there's what we call crazy marketing.
Okay.
You can re-strategize by coming with sales assistants who would go around with your goods. It's just for that time. It's not forever. You yourself as a brand owner can even front it. They can even head the team. Go out with your goods. Imagine someone selling, I selling food. I sold grills, chicken, protein, all kinds of protein and food at the trade fair. What I did, at some extent, I had to clean film the chicken, the grilled full chicken in a plate, a disposable plate, and I had to go around with it like this.
Wow.
Just to what? I mean, inside the MBL arena, not outside the MBL arena.
Okay.
And I had people coming to my stand. A lot of people were informed that, there's actually something, because it has different vendors. So, and then someone sitting next after me, like in my neighbor's stand, cannot, can't be aware that there's something happening there. Yes, so there's variety of whatever you want. It's just you getting to know. So what I did was I had to go around, and I saw people come out with which priceless or so. Got to.
Wow. That's nice. I'm glad you had such a wonderful experience, because I mean, this conversation was important. Let's know if it's truly working. Not every day we're preparing for trade fair, and people are crying. But I'm glad that your experience has been wonderful so far. So on a final note, we've run out of time. I'd like to know, do you think it's something that more vendors should sign up for? Do you think it's something here in Enugu, like I said, we already do a lot. Do you think we need more? Or should we just stick to what we have? And then if you have any final words for anybody at all, just give it here and we'll call it a wrap.
If you ask me, I think we still need more, and we need the government to equip us, the vendors. There are certain things we need, do you understand, to help these businesses grow.
Things like what?
Programs, they say men are made in meetings, programs to help, to equip us, knowledge, like to increase So, and then I think we are okay with what we have, and we are open for more trade fairs if possible.
So, one last question. A trade fair is organized by individuals and the one organized by the government, which is more better for you people?
If
your experience so far,
if
have you tried?
Ask me, it's considering the location. It's outside the town, so we had a challenge with it, and then there wasn't enough advert before the trade fair started. So in recent times, the one organized by individuals, I think, sells more. Yeah. Just like the one we just started at ShopRite yesterday, Santa Fe.
Okay.
Yes. So.
Are you part of it as well?
No, but I just went there yesterday to say hi to some vendors.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
As for the shout out, I have something happening on the 27th of May. It's tagged Family Fiesta, organized by Party Times Events.
Okay, so are you shouting out to someone?
No, yes,
yourself.
No, it's to someone.
Okay. So who are you shouting out to?
At Party Time.
You're shouting out to Party Time?
Party Time.
All right, a big shout out to Party Time from Nedu.
Nedu, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us,
So
sir.
we've got more tickets for this program. The ticket costs 3,000 naira. It's for both adults and family and kids. Sorry. So,
are you giving for free?
No.
This is an advertisement.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. That was Onye Bareke, David Chinedu, an event planner, caterer, and a chef, the CEO of Nedu Belefu Cakes at Events. Up next on the AM Weekend Show is our next conversation right after this short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show on here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break.
You don't sing alone.
I did single. For real.
You're not a backup singer.
That's what they do. Time check, it's 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV. So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibes and vibes only.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owner, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and...
An incompetent means an incompetent person.
What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
You want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show to get the pulse and the feel of that.
Hey ladies, join us on Gyno Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
Breastfeeding doesn't even cause breast size. The frequency of breastfeeding determines the approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show on here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break.
You don't sing alone.
I did single. For real.
You're not a backup singer.
That's what they do. Time check, it's 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV. So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibes and vibes only.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owner, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and...
An incompetent means an incompetent person.
What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
You want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show to get the pulse and the feel of that.
Join us on Gyno Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254, and GoTV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
Breastfeeding doesn't even cause breast life. The frequency of breastfeeding means the approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show on here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break.
You don't sing along.
I did sing.
For real? You're not a backup singer.
That's what they do.
Time check, it's 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV. So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibes and vibes only.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owner, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and
An incompetent means an incompetent person.
Weekend show, and my name is Divine Onoha, and I'm here with two gentlemen. We'll be talking about the Enugu Tech Fest, which is happening pretty soon, and we'll be looking at rebranding the Southeast through tech and finding out how we're going to rebrand the Southeast through tech. Enugu has long been known for history and culture and traditions, like I said, and this would be an attempt to digitalizing it some more and finding out things that we can do with tech and how much we can rebrand the Southeast in general and Enugu, of course, into a more tech-savvy place. And I don't know, well, I have my guests who are going to be explaining to us how exactly this is going to work. Joining us on this conversation is Eliezer Aja, Managing Director, Genesis Foundation. And with him is another gentleman who is called Emmanuel Chinedu, the co-founder, Blockchain Hub Africa. Welcome to the show, sir. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so as you can see, as you could see, I was trying to introduce it like you would. You know, I already know what, I already have an idea, but we're going to have more. We're going to deep dive into this conversation properly. So I'll start by asking you to tell us what Enugu Tech Fest is all about.
Thank you so much. Enugu Tech Festival is our opportunity to exhibit to the world the current reality we have at Enugu, that we moved from just a glorified civil servant retirement home to an actual place that thrives on technology. So that's why the theme, from coal to code, is very apt. So at the Tech Fest, we are hoping to show the world exactly what we've been doing here, the wealth of talents we have here, the wealth of innovations we have here, and give businesses and talents out also in Enugu the opportunity to sell to a broader audience. We're going to have top crop of investors like Tommy Davis, Napa Alta, Ikenza from Better Ventures, and they're going to be here to talk to startups in Enugu, see people that are building interesting stuff to support them. We are going to see startup founders in Enugu that have thrived over the years, like Ugochukwu Aron of Zen, Kingsley Eze, and the rest of them, also come and share their experience so that you can see that actual businesses have been built in Enugu, tech businesses, they've thrived and they've dominated the world, all from Enugu. So the idea for the Enugu Tech Festival is a celebration of all these things, and that's why we're calling it a festival. It's going to cut across industries, AI, blockchain, fintech, emerging technologies. In fact, we have an entire day dedicated to emerging technologies. So it's going to be amazing, and it's something that's going to cater to everybody, yourself included.
Okay, interesting. Now I'm taking interest. Okay, now I think I get it now, since you've highlighted, and I think the highlight there is celebrate. We're going to be celebrating. Because I was thinking, initially when I saw it, code to code, what do we want to do? Are we turning our code? You know, you get me, I had a lot of imaginations going on. Tech Fest, okay, what are we going to be pushing towards the tech industry? I mean, what exactly are we going to do? Are we going to convert something into something? And now that you said it, you're saying we are celebrating, and then we're showing the world that we already have. So that is one side of the whole thing. Now I'd like to know, away from celebrating and showing the world that this is what Enugu has, what problem is the Tech Fest going to solve? I think I'll direct that question to you.
Thank you very much. It's good that you've asked this question, because I was going to highlight that. Beyond just the celebrations, right, what we're trying to achieve with Enugu Tech Fest is to keep the pool of talents that we have here in Enugu, right? What has happened over the years is that because of the number of universities we have here in Enugu, we have a lot of talents pool here, and then they come here, upskill themselves, get into tech, and then after school, they move down to Lagos, right? So what we're trying to do is to bring those things that are going to Lagos to look for here in Enugu, bring investors and bring tech startup and business owners within the tech space in a common environment where they can synergize. Investors can invest in tech and diversify their portfolio. Within the East here, we just know how to build hotels and filling stations and all of that. But the real money right now is in tech, right? And if we have the talents who that build these things to export and then go to Lagos and do businesses, we want to bring these talents, keep them here in Enugu, and then bring the investors that have the money together in a common room so that they can synergize and keep things happening within Enugu. That's what we're trying to achieve with Enugu Tech First. Okay, we'll come back to that. Back to you, Eliezer. Now you mentioned something. You said that it's for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm paraphrasing now. You said including me.
Especially
so he now said, especially, wow. Praise the Lord. God has located me. Now, he said something about tech being where the money is. Anytime I hear that, I'm just so threatened. What am I doing wrong? All I know is to bake cakes. You know? So that has been something that has intimidated a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Tech. And then there are people who have attempted this thing. They've tried. Yeah. I know some tech bros. And after a while, after dropping the on-site jobs that they have, carrying laptops everywhere, they still bounce back and, come back and say, find me something. So what's really going on? So you're going to explain to me what this pressure is about, and whether it's necessary, whether everybody should get into tech. And then you explain how we should get into tech. How the woman selling pepper on the street should get into tech. Exactly. What she needs to know to become tech savvy or to help her business one way or the other. Yeah. Because it looks like there are just a specific set of people who have this update and are refusing to release it. So please, let's have that first.
Yeah, thank you so much. But I think that's why it's important that the Tech Festival is happening, because we're going to share updates. That's literally what's going to happen, to share updates. And I think I want us to also see tech as it cuts across. You have an iPad now as you're using to interview us, right? Ask us questions from this. While streaming this live, everybody's looking at this and watching us as this conversation happens. And that's tech. So the thing is that we've not seen tech in an ubiquitous form yet. We're still seeing tech as a separate thing. I was going to learn coding. But you bake.
Talk about this thing with pepper sellers.
Yes, so let's start with you as a baker.
Okay, you're a baker. I understand a bit of it. Since we're involving social media.
Exactly. That's tech anywhere. So as a pepper seller now, a pepper seller knows that with tech, if there's an app that's able to track different places that have different solidity of soils, she's able to see that these are the places that I can farm pepper in and get pepper, number one. Number two, as a pepper seller, okay, I'll give you an example for a direct equivalent. I barely cook, but when I cook, I have to go to the market. I think that's the major issue. The other time I went to New York, to artisan market, and I saw a customer that sells pepper. And she said, just charm the list. I would help you and go. And she did also higher, that's what they call it. And she went around and got me everything. Even got me fine yogurt. I was just sitting down, I was chilling.
That's sweet.
It was amazing. Even though I saw the bill, I was paying this country. But, so it means that people do not necessarily have to go to the pepper sellers. The same way you as a baker can use digital marketing. The same way the pepper seller can just post on a status on WhatsApp. And that in its entirety is where digital enablement starts from. Where your business is now tech-enabled so that I don't have to go to Afia 9, shout out Afia TV, I don't have to go to Afia 9, right, to go and get pepper when I can text Mama Nkechi on WhatsApp because, excuse my Igbo also, TRM 1000, and they send it to me. That's tech. But the thing is that we still keep seeing tech as a standalone, and that's why it's now stressful. I want to learn code. Not everybody has to learn code.
Exactly.
I used to write code before Divine. Like, I studied computer science in college, and I wrote code. And I was like, this is probably not for me. And I pivoted into learning and development. Now I'm a teacher in tech. Emmanuel runs the largest blockchain development academy in Africa, which is teaching, even though he's still a technical guy and wants to do all the Tor network stuff. My point is that the moment you see tech as something that is with us already, something that is ubiquitous, and you now see that your entry barriers are a lot lower because you're now doing it as a passion thing as opposed to, I want to get money. Because when we say there's, blood money in tech, it's your blood. That's what people don't realize. But if you now decide that there's a lower hanging fruit, you can do that. And the second part is how to do this. The interesting thing about what we currently are, which is the new normal, is that tech has been democratized. YouTube is the largest free technology institute in the world. Anything you want to learn, you can go to Google and type front-end development for dummies. How to build a website that shows a baking cake process for dummies. Do you understand? And it will show a step-by-step process. You just gotta learn. But the thing is that we've forgotten foundationals. People just want to go straight to the top, and now it now happens like that. But two things, tech is everywhere. Okay. So the thing you should say is, how can that tech affect me and where I am, and how can I scale? And the second part is in that scaling, because at the end of the day, everything is learnable. You have the internet as your sources to do it, and so that if it doesn't work, you now do another one. So that's the idea for me, to understand that tech is everywhere, and you can learn tech to grow for free.
Okay, now before we talk about the Tech Fest one more time, I think I'll direct this question to you, Emmanuel. And so we've established that every business, everything can actually have something to do with tech. The person just needs to know. So now, I don't know why I'm so interested in this pepper seller thing. Well, pardon me though. So away from social media, apart from social media, because just like he said, he's with us. Sure. He has explained it very simply now, and anybody watching this thing will say, hey, it's what we are doing now, because actually a lot of people are doing it. Everybody's on Facebook now, everybody's on Instagram, everybody has a business, CEO, something, so everybody now. We have, but at the end of the day, there are still people that are cashing out and people that are not, no matter how much they post. So is social media the only other way that everybody can get into tech, or can get their stuff or the work they're doing into tech? Or are there other platforms or other things entirely that people can think of that are tech-related that can benefit every business?
That can benefit every business.
I know that's
I had an easy answer to that question. It comes to different dynamics altogether. But to answer your question, I think what will help people is to know that there are two paths to tech. There's the technical side of it, and then there is the non-technical side of it. So if you know where you fall in within these two divide, it will help you a lot. Away from social media, right? I'll give an example. Went for a Omniverse conference in Lagos. In the hotel where I was, at the time when we came back, it was a bit late, and on my way back on the ride, I used the mobile app. I don't want to mention, so it's not free advance for them because I understand how these things work. To order food, right? To order food. This is not on social media, but it's still leveraging tech. All right. Let's bring it down to the pepper seller. That's the knowledge we've been using quite for a number of time now. The social media person doesn't have to be, the pepper seller doesn't have to be a social media master. Okay? It's about knowing how to position your business leveraging tech, that is online, okay? So you don't have to have 50 million followers and all of that. You can do push adverts, okay? With having like 50 followers or 20 followers. You can do push adverts for a pepper seller, the name, your shop, your location and everything, the types of pepper that you have, the red one and the yellow one and all of that. So it's not just about social media, followership, and how best you know how to use social media. It's about knowing how to tap into tech, in code, the non-technical side, to push your business. You can do push advert, something as simple as even your WhatsApp status, right? People don't understand the power of these things. What tech have done is to break down the barrier, the entry barrier for businesses. It helps to tap into markets and regions where ordinarily you wouldn't have been able to, have visibility in. So beyond that social media, something as simple as your WhatsApp status can help you make a lot of sales, even as a pepper seller.
Which is also social media, but anyways. So we're still going to say something. Sorry, we've run out of time. So now the question is this. At the end of the day, this is going to lead to so much more, so much more. I think I'll just leave this particular question. We're still going to talk about this. We're still going to talk about this. So, but let's just hear, when is the Tech Fest happening?
Yeah, the Tech Fest is happening from the 6th of May to the 9th of May.
6th of May to 9th of May.
Yeah, the first day is going to be a rally, so not a tech conference per se, but a show of force to show that, we exist, the tech community and tech ecosystem is thriving, and they exist in Enugu. So we're going to do a rally around Enugu. Then business starts on the 7th, with plenary sessions, panel sessions. There are host of speakers like Kingsley Ezel, Leo Stan, Professor Batsinaji, Napa Onsa, and a host of other powerful people that are going to come and share these things. Okay. And every evening we have mixers as well, because we're trying to target people in the way that it works properly, so that at the end of all the talk and everything, we're going to have mixers, intimate mixers with our investors, our VIPs that we're bringing here to also talk to interesting founders like yourself.
Okay.
And that's going to happen. And on the final day, that's the 9th, we're going to do the Emerging Tech and Blockchain Conference Day, where our very, very booming Web3 community, GM guys, are going to show, they're going to connect, they're going to build stuff, they're going to launch some D-apps there as well. And it's going to be an amazing once-in-a-year type of opportunity for Enugu.
Okay, what's the venue?
The venue is the International Conference Center, newly built. We're going to launch it. It's going to be the official launches of the ICC. So please, I ask you to be there.
Everybody can
Everybody,
be there?
The governor is going to be there. A couple of ministers are going to be there. The commissioners are going to be there. And Divine is going to be there as well. So
I like how sure you are.
Come on, come all.
Is that a fee?
Oh, it's free. It's free. That's why I say the democratization is not just free, but you're going to get stuff. I need us to distinct this thing. You're not going to pay money. You're going to get money. You're going to get scholarships. You're going to get laptops. You're going to get investments. You're going to get tablets. We have Xenox on board. We have Union Bank on board. These people they want to give out stuff. The only thing that they need is people that are going to collect it. So even if you're coming to just get a free laptop, come. Even if you're coming to just get a MacBook, a tablet, come. If you're going to get a number of one of our top speakers, come. If you're going to come and see me, I am a big deal. Come as well. Okay? The thing is this, come one, come all. We're already worried about the logistic nightmare because, but come, benefits, and at the end of the day, you'll see that this was an amazing thing for you to do.
Okay, I think I'm anticipating at this point. And I hope that just as we've discussed and we've established that everybody can do tech, everybody can find a way to infuse tech in what they do. I mean, it's not like I don't, I totally do. I've just been very, very, I try to think about how these things work. And I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about it. But I think one of the problems actually is the fact that those particular areas you're mentioning now, it has more to do with specialty. I don't know how to put it. The pepper seller will need a different approach to things.
Yes.
The cake baker will need a different approach. Exactly. This guy will need a different approach. So that's what I think is the issue. And I hope that you are going to trash that issue. Exactly. I hope we're going to get solutions to that. Because at the end of the day, if I know that, okay, posting on social media is the way, and I keep posting and I'm not seeing results, I may not know that there's something else for my own business. Yeah. So I like that this is happening. I mean, shout out to you guys.
Shout out to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been an amazing conversation. And to you out there, I encourage you to come for this fest. Is this the fest?
This is the first.
It's the first of its kind.
Yeah.
The first Fest.
We
The
need to
first Tech
register.
Fest.
But you have to register at
FTF.
EnuguTechFest.com and then register.
EnuguTechFest.com. So
Register, partnership, sponsorship, EnuguTechFest.com.
So just go to EnuguTechFest.com and register, and see you there, I guess.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
Up next on the AM Weekend Show is our final conversation. And we're going to be diving into the world of gaming in the Southeast. We'll be discussing board games and what it really is right now in the Southeast. After the short break, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
You want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show to get the pulse and the feel of that.
Join us on Gyno Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254, and GoTV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
Breastfeeding doesn't even cause breast life. The frequency of breastfeeding means the approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show on here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break.
You don't sing along.
I did single.
For real. You're not a backup singer.
That's what they do.
Time check, it's 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV. So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests. And yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibes and vibes only.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next girl store owner, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and
An incompetent means an incompetent person.
What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
You want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show to get the pulse and the feel of that.
It is still the AM Weekend Show. My name is Divine Onoha, and I'm your host for today. I'm also here with my amazing co-host, Ogochukwu. She has joined us on set.
I'm back, guys.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I didn't miss you a lot.
This conversation.
I did too.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Okay, right now we're going to be delving into something different. I will be talking about board games in Enugu, board games in the southeastern part of Nigeria. And we have a board game developer and designer who has just joined us on set to have this conversation. His name is Tobenna Nwosu. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Welcome, welcome. I mean, back when we were younger, board games used to be something we just do for fun. We do... Maybe Ludo is board game.
It's a board game, yes. So
what is not a board game?
What is a card game?
It's a card game.
So they generally they fall under tabletop games.
Tabletop
board games, card games,
okay.
Role play games.
Okay. So I'm learning that it is not just for fun anymore. It is becoming a tool for learning. It is becoming a tool for connection and creativity. I'm hearing that in Enugu now, just like you told me, you could now have a society.
Wow. So I rather you call it a community.
I intentionally did it that way because I'm not aware. Is it not secret codes that we will not be aware of? A whole us, we're not aware.
Okay, now you're aware.
Now
so it's not so secret any longer. And we have been shouting it everywhere. So
yeah, wonderful. So please tell us about, okay, before I get you to tell us about this secret code, about the community, I'd like you to tell us about board games. What really are board games? Just like Ogochukwu would have thought.
Okay, so
board game, yeah.
Like the name implies board games.
Okay.
You know, you've heard of cardboard sheets. You know, it has to do with paper. So card games, paper, board games. Just the difference is that this one has a board that you play on. So they encompass different play mechanics and themes. It's also a tool for telling stories. So like Ludo, you can use it for pastime. It's also a tool to make you learn to wait your turn for kids. Like you have to wait your turn after you is you, after you is you. All those soft skills. You don't. It's just like, you don't know that I can't come and tell you, I'll teach you how to be a team player when playing. But naturally, when you play games, you learn to wait your turn, you learn to strategize. When you get too sicky, you know that I want to wait behind this person's house. So you learn to strategize. Sometimes you work out, sometimes you don't. So you learn to also deal with winning and losing.
Okay.
So for kids, it's a big deal because I have kids that in game clubs, when they lose, they start crying. I have to deal with that. So board games generally, they can be tools for have fun, like Ludo, the conventional games we played growing up, Ludo, Ncho, Monopoly, Scrabble, chess. Chess is like...
Puzzles, Uncle.
Yeah, puzzles are board games as well. They help you with your cognitive ability, like knowing which piece is where. So we play that a lot in schools. Puzzles and all those word games, mathematical games. So.
There's this one I'm thinking about. This one that has this wooden thing
Jenga.
with round circles that we put seeds in.
That is the Ncho.
Ncho.
Ayo. I think Mancala is the general name.
Ah, nice. Okay. So what drew you to board games? What drew you to this path?
I'll say fate, because I'm a network engineer, but I've always loved games growing up. My dad, I say my dad was a gamer because growing up, I was exposed to all the conventional games from Ncho, Ludo, chess, Monopoly, Snakes and Ladders, Scrabble. I played all of them growing up. So naturally, I gravitated towards, when I now finally saw somebody doing this on another level, let me say on an international level, it piqued my interest. And that person was my childhood friend. I never tell my board game story without calling the name Kenechukwu Buagu. Because he's I call him the father of modern tabletop games in Nigeria, because generally he brought Nigeria into the international limelight of gaming. And he's the one that led me into this career path. Even though I had the vision of going into gaming, but it was not tabletop games, it was video games, virtual reality. But now, this fair was a whole, I didn't know that there was a lot of value chain to it until I entered the gaming stuff. So, since 2018, I was first an enthusiast. Then 2019, I entered fully as a game master, managing the first tabletop games cafe in Nigeria.
Yeah, so, you know, these things you now said now, I used to see games, but with the way you've explained it, it has drawn my mind to like the other parts of it, the more interesting part of it, like the cognitive reasoning and all those things. And just like you've mentioned, you hosted the first, you are managing the first board game cafe here in Nigeria. So how has it been and how has it shaped your mission so far?
Okay, so for the first 2 years of the cafes coming into existence, I was the manager for 2 years. That was from 2019 to 2021 before I relocated from Abuja to Enugu. So getting back to Enugu, I thought to myself, why don't you bring this thing home? Igbo Sina, and I'm known as before for 1 year.
Okay, okay.
So I said, okay, let's do this thing here.
Son of the sun.
Yes, so we started, I started like going to events for free. I went to every hangout spot I could see. Like once I feel like, this place, they have a nice table that we can play games. I just go there, try to engage people. Then it was a challenge because walking up to someone that just wants to like relax, they'll be like, who is this guy? It's weird. But then some people will give me the chance and they'll be like, this game, I've never seen it before. I'll be like, okay, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to promote games, tabletop games in Enugu. And my first game night, I will not lie, my first game night in Enugu, we are just 3 people. After the whole shouting, it was just 3 people. But now, every Thursday, I average at least 25 to 30 people.
Nice. That's massive.
Yeah, so it's growing and the ripple effect, when people experience it. So when I tell people, this is my services, they don't get it. They'll be like, is it not Snakes and Lies? Is it not we are all adults? I'll be like, no, my game night is not that one. That we are playing game designed to have fun and it's not, I know we are all adults or come and get drunk.
Okay, now that is fun. That sounds fun. Like, I'm already interested. Yeah. But then, so let's get into matters. Okay. Matters arising. So I've seen how you have grown from an enthusiast to someone doing it as something. I mean, it's almost like a career path at this point.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is.
So what do you say to parents? Because I know children who grow up loving games. Even though technology has come and we're hearing PS-this, PS-that, and I mean, it's, for a lot of parents, it's disturbing. If you wake up, if you wake up in the morning and you're not sweeping or cleaning or washing or reading, you are out, you are just doing the wrong things, you are wrong. So now seeing your son, seeing your child, say his game is the only thing he knows. That's the, I mean, and there are children like that. Give them book, they will know. Give them games, they are so a lot of parents find this thing very disturbing. How can a parent, how do we solve that problem? Because now we're seeing it work for you. You've said that you've seen the potentials in it and all of that. How do we go about convincing parents that it's not a curse if your child loves games?
Okay, so like you said, you came with washing, reading. So I believe there's time for everything as well. In as much as we all love games, because growing up, I was one of those people they called on game. I played games a lot, like. So it became a reward system. They knew, okay, this guy likes games. Okay, just give me A's in this so and so subject. And believe me, I'll give you those A's in those subjects. So you let me play games.
Okay.
So I believe if you notice your child loves games, instead of holding him or her back, just try and maybe now know the type of games they play. So they're educational games that both bring fun and increase your learning. So word games are a way, they are these games, instant words. It keeps you thinking on your feet. Maybe they say things you can find in the living room. Person to shout out the correct answer first, gets the card. So those things, it gets you thinking on your feet. It's a fun game as well as it lets you also learn vocabularies. You even learn things that you didn't know existed in the living room before. So for parents that look at this, there are a lot of creative ways. First, graphic designing. That is another value chain to it. A child might just love the graphics in a game. It might not necessarily be all about the game. It might be the art they are seeing in the game. Maybe he's an artist.
Okay.
So
it might inspire them.
Yes, it might inspire them. There's also even creating the game itself is a value chain because you can get your games, create it and sell them. And is a lifetime income something. If you create a game that people like, from today to even when you die, they'll keep ordering that game. So it's also a way to create, generational wealth.
We have to deep dive into that because I really want to know how everybody making money.
Trouble. That's why in schools, people that can't learn through like whiteboard, we have these we call them kinesthetic learners. We learn through games. We call it gamification. We make maths fun for them. So when there is like rewards, children like to say, I won you in this game. And when you like say, okay, this color and this color is 4. So they have different ways to solve complex problems, and you make it learning fun for them. Like that, it makes them. Like me, I learned physics because my physics teacher in SS1 was a storyteller. He always told me, I sat down with Isaac Newton. So when I teach kids in the class, I'll be like, when you see this, it's not a math problem. Look at this color. Do you like colors? Yes. So I try to tailor the game to what the kids like, and I explain them down to their level. And believe me, when they go to the class, when they are seeing those problems, they picture it as maybe art, story, and they get the solution.
Okay, so, I mean, unfortunately, we've run out of time.
No problem.
I hope that we have this conversation more of it, because there are other things to delve into. I mean,
so yeah, it's a growing community.
Yes.
We have game club in schools, game events every Thursday, game nights every Thursday.
Game nights? Where is that?
At Fudopolis, every
I've
Thursday
heard about
from
it.
5 p.m. till 9 p.m.
Okay.
So we also have one-off events we do events everywhere, social events, corporate events.
I think I've seen him somewhere. I've seen you on several occasions. I mean, events now.
Yeah.
Hey, you just
Capri Sun and Booze, Kiddish.
Yeah.
So even Tech on Wine, Tech Fest, all those.
That's really
they incorporate
nice.
Games into everything.
You know, I'm saying that we'll have this conversation again because I really need us to delve into the money generation part of the whole thing.
Sure.
Have not really you never took clear me for that area.
That's where we want
you have not really employment and all of that. You have not cleared me there. So for now, I'm a typical African parent. But I encourage parents, please, by all means. I like what he said about reward system. You can make it a reward system for your children. When they read their books, they do their assignments, they do their chores at home, you reward them with games. Just maybe, or you're building or paving the way for the next big graphics designer, like you said. Or
game designer.
Game designer.
Game developer.
Game developer. And you just cannot tell what can come out of it. So please don't shut them down. Just try to create a balance.
Yeah, balance is very important.
That's some good motivation, I think.
Yeah.
We've given you so much today. From the newspaper review to our trip around the region, to our conversation about tech, our conversation about trade fairs in Enugu, and we have just wrapped it up with our conversation about board games. Something light and something beautiful, just to ensure that you have a beautiful weekend this weekend. My name is Divine Onoha. I hate to say goodbye, but this is me calling it a wrap. Have a lovely day.
And my name is Ogochukwu Osai. I am wrapping here, but we'll see you on News Today.
Join us on Gyno Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254, and GoTV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
Breastfeeding doesn't even cause breast size. The frequency of breastfeeding means the approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.